evening, folks. It's Glenn the Ball Chef, and this evening I'm putting together the Spanish dish paella. Now, I know in cooking this dish, it's going to open up a can of worms, basically, because there are probably as many ways to cook paella, this famous dish from Spain, as there are Spaniards. So, knowing this up front, I know that people are going to probably complain that they wouldn't do it this way, or they'd do it this way, or they wouldn't do it that way. Well, this is a dish that I've used for years, and I think it's a very, very good rendition, my rendition of a true Spanish paella from the region of Valencia. Now, I'm going to get started by using a homemade seafood stock that I'm going to cook my rice in. A lot of the Spaniards sometimes even take water right out of the ocean and use that to cook their paella. And you may complain that my actual pan that I use to cook paella is not large enough. It's the largest pan I've got, and this is a dish for 4 people. So a lot of times they'll cook up in Spain paella for groups of 10 or 15 people, and this is a reduced size recipe here. You can increase it for a larger party, but for just a regular home stove, this is going to be about as large of a pan as you can use. So let's get started, and I'm going to show you how to put this famous Spanish recipe together. Making my seafood stock, I take my clams, put them right into the water. We'll take off any residual sand that I can drain off. I'm going to need about 2 cups of stock. We'll put in a little bit of saffron right now to give us a nice yellow color. I'll be adding more saffron to the dish as it goes. And I'm going to bring these clams up to a boil for a minute here. I'm going to put in my shrimp and with the shells on, and I'm going to cook these shrimp and I'm not going to cook them even close to being done. Just enough to kind of flavor this water off a little bit. And I'm just going to cook this for just maybe a minute or 2, and then remove the seafood and then reduce this down until I've got basically just 2 cups of stock. We'll come back and look at it. Alright, I've removed my shrimp. I just had those in there to basically blanch them. My clams are probably 5 minutes from opening up completely. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off the stove right now and basically drain it off. Make sure there's no sand in this liquid, and we'll get ready to put the my rendition of this Spanish paella. We're going to be using, this is going to be a paella de mariscos, or a seafood paella. They make other versions in Spain that can include rabbit or chicken. Snails sometimes can be used, but typically you don't mix seafood with chicken or something like that, or with duck, for example. If it's a paella de mariscos, we're going to be using just seafood in this rendition. And to start out with, we want to use a good quality extra virgin olive oil, probably about 1.5 ounces. This is something that you don't want to skimp on. Into this, we're going to add a julienne red bell pepper. I don't use onion in my paella. I've seen some people out there that do. I don't know that I've ever had a true paella that had onion in it, but it's something that I've seen. But as far as the spice selection, I like to use some sweet paprika, about a tablespoon of that, teaspoon of some rosemary, and 2 tablespoons of finely minced garlic. Now we're just going to kind of infuse these spices with the olive oil. A little bit here, and then I take a very small Italian tomato. This is a Spanish dish. I dice that up and I'll put that right in there with that. We'll cook off some of this liquid from the tomato. And we'll let this go for a minute. At this point, I would like to go ahead and put in my saffron. Saffron is a very expensive spice. I think it's probably the most expensive spice in the world. It's the petals of a little flower, but it gives the paella the yellow color that you often are associated with in a paella dish. So I'm going to let these vegetables sweat off here for a minute, and we'll come back and I'll show you the next step. We have sweated off most of the liquid here. And what we're going to use is some Spanish short grain rice. Don't use any parboiled rice, Uncle Ben's, anything like that. It absolutely ruined the recipe. Into that we're going to add the 1 cup of rice and then 2 cups of our homemade seafood stock. And what we're going to do now is we're going to give this a one-time stir. Kind of infuse everything in there, and then we're just going to let this be on low temperature. There's no need to stir this anymore. Just one stir, that's it. Put this down on low, and I'm going to cook this rice off at a slow temperature, and when it gets to the next step, I'll show you what we do. My rice has been cooking here for about maybe 17 minutes or so, and I'm going to start putting my first seafood in, which is going to be some lobster that I've got. This is fresh lobster meat that I just cut the lobster right down the middle. Poor fella. We put that right on top of there. It's going to take the longest to cook, so I'm going to put this lobster in first. It's a peasant dish. You probably wouldn't see this in a typical paella de marisco recipe, but I like lobster, so I'm going to put it in my paella. So we'll just let this continue cooking. Alright, our lobster is cooked now. We're going to pull this out of here. Our rice is coming to its final stages. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of the key ingredients to our paella de marisco. And one of those being green peas. So I like to use frozen peas. Do not ever use canned peas. Should be put in at the very last part of the cooking stage. Maybe about a half a cup or so will do it. We'll put those in there like such. It wouldn't be paella without some fresh squid. So we'll throw in about a 1/4 pound of some cleaned squid into this, like such. We'll go ahead and return our clams, which were just about cooked when we made our seafood broth, but we'll still be able to get some flavor off of those. Goes back in there like such. Kind of dress this up. And then, of course, we go back to our parboiled shrimp. Put a little bit of that in there, about 24 of our medium count cleaned and deveined deshelled shrimp that were just simply parboiled. They weren't completely cooked. Don't want to overcook your shrimp. And then the last step to this is to go ahead and throw our lobster back on top of this. Just kind of hold down the squid and let the rest of the cooking process take place. And we will be back here in about 5 minutes with a delicacy. Alright, all of our shellfish is now cooked. The rice should be nice. Maybe a little crusty on the bottom. That's the way paella is. The paella de mariscos. Now we're going to plate it up. Give this stuff a taste test. Alright, there it is. Our finished paella de mariscos. Straight out of Spain. Valencia, down by the Mediterranean. Oh my God, that looks so good. I'll tell you what, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who wouldn't have done it this way. And I will invite you to put up a video response if you think you can outdo this dish, or you don't think it's original. Go right ahead. But I'll tell you what, I've made this many times and I know that it is fit for a king. And this is the way I like it. We get a little shrimp, some of this rice with the classic saffron yellowy color to it. Put a little bite on the spoon here. Folks, bordering on spectacular. Give this one a try. If you like it, give me a like. If you don't like it, tell me why. Subscribe to my channel. I got all kinds of crazy stuff going on around here. And as always, thanks for watching and bon appetit.